Well, this is my first Gracecast. I call it a Gracecast because I wanted to do something that would really help people to understand the grace of God. I know for a lot of years I was saved young and grew up in churches with preachers and teachers who really, probably ignorantly, I don't think it was purposeful, but taught. So had some false teaching about the grace of God. And I go to church and I'd hear preachers talking about how sinful I was and how horrible I was and how my life, I need to get my act cleaned up. And, you know, the reality was nobody knew how big a sinner I was. Nobody knew more than I did how messed up I was. And I'd leave church feeling worse than I did when I came in. And as I grew older and started studying and understanding what grace was all about, that it was something that wasn't earned. It wasn't something that I could do in order to get God's favor. Man, that became liberating for me. That was real freedom. No wonder it says in John chapter 8:32 that you shall know the truth and the truth will set you free. Because for a lot of years, I feel like I was maybe not purposefully, but I was lied to. I didn't get the right information. Because when you understand grace, that you can't earn it, that there's nothing you can do to appease or to do enough to get God's favor or get him to love you, that is liberating. That he loves us just like we are. That's what grace is. That's the new covenant. If we have to do anything to earn it, it's not grace. And frankly, I just get tired of Christians trying to put their rules, their regulations, how they feel you ought to act, how you ought to talk, how you ought to look. And I just thought I'd set the record straight by doing what I call a Gracecast and try to present more truth than some of the bad teaching that we got when we were growing up. Maybe you feel bad. You know, I have felt bad sometimes because, you know, I didn't feel like I was doing enough, acting right, you know, behaving a certain way. And you live defeated. But man, when I started understanding grace, that I couldn't earn it, that God loved me right where I was on my journey, it's liberating. It's liberating because when people say things and do things that contradict the grace of God, I don't have to be rude, but I can walk off saying, you know what? They just don't understand what grace is. I had people come to me all the time and say, well, you know, that's cheap grace. Well, how cheap is free? It is. It's free. It's a gift. How much does a gift cost? It doesn't cost anything, because if it cost anything, it wouldn't be a gift. By grace, you're saved through faith, not of yourself. It is a gift of God. That is real freedom. I heard somebody say this is a great way, or one great way to illustrate grace. Man and a woman sit down at a restaurant. They're going to have a great meal. The waiter comes by and he's going to put the entree on the table. He slips and spills the entree in this wife's lap. It's horrible. Now, gets her dress all messed up. The manager comes over and, of course, apologizes, and they clean her up, bring her a new meal out. And, of course, they don't make them pay for the meal. But as they get up, that couple gets up to leave. He writes out a $20 tip for the waiter. That's grace. Unmerited. Unearned. As a matter of fact, undeserved. But that's what grace is. And when God looks at us, he doesn't look at us according to our behavior, how we act, behave. But he says, I'm gracious because I love you. This is a new covenant. This is a new promise. So today, live in freedom. You're a child of God. Freedom. Liberated from how you have to act, how you have to talk. And when people discourage you, you shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Peace.